Sis, and this is a response with love. You know, this is gang all over here. I'm only going to have this conversation because you're the second person who has cautioned me against victim blaming, and I want to be clear where I'm coming from. And even in my clarifying where I'm coming from, people may still feel that I'm victim shaming or victim blaming, and I'm okay with that because I know that I'm not victim blaming. To me, victim blaming and victim shaming is calling people names and saying they're stupid for choosing to stay in that space. That is now blaming them for their choices. We only move in the awareness that we have in the moment. But we had awareness and we chose that scenario. I don't see victimization there. We all have free will, and I get it. People do mask and people do pretend, and they do what is necessary to draw you in. They do what's necessary to draw you in and to now have this relationship. But we know what we deserve. We know what we're worth, and we allow to happen to us what we feel we deserve and what we feel that we're worth. I have literally had men whose penis tasted like vagina, and I still sucked it. I said something about it. He said, shut up, and I shut up. Does that make me a victim? I was very much aware that this was wrong. I was very much aware that I deserved better, but did that stop me from going over that man's house again so that we can hang out and I can have a little bit of affection so somebody pay me attention? Nope, sure didn't stop me. Where's the victim? Where's the victim? Now, I get it if someone pretends to draw you in, and when they draw you in, then you realize they're an asshole, but once you're in there and you realize they're an asshole, if you choose to stay, if you choose to allow the abuse to continue, that is a choice. Potentially, the way that a lot of these relationships work, we move way too fast. We are looking so hungry to be in a relationship, we will jump into a relationship with the first person who offers relationship. No, they have not shown us any relationship-worthy qualities. It's just the fact that they're willing to be in a relationship with us, and we want them to be in a relationship too. And we did not vet this person. We vet jobs, we vet cars, we vet everything else but the people that we allow to be in our lives. And then when those people come in our lives and they mistreat us, we can now determine, am I going to stay or am I going to go? The first time, I will agree, you are a victim. The second time, you are not a victim. The third time, you are not a victim. The fourth time, you are not a victim. 10 years later, 2 years later, 3 years later, you are not a victim because you are choosing to stay. Whatever reason why you are making that choice, you are choosing. How are you a victim when there's people out here who did not choose to be SA'd? There's people out here who did not choose whatever situation they're in. You know, that captain on that pier in Montgomery did not choose to be attacked. He did not choose that. He is a victim. Now, how can we look at all those other people who started fighting and got into it and happened to get their ass whooped? How do we call them victims? They initiated this stuff. They came and they scuffed up. How are you a victim just because you didn't get the upper hand? So that's the only thing that I want to just question. And I'm more than welcome to receive what you have to share with me. But at present, I used to agree. I was a victim. I used to agree. People who made choices and ended up in bad situations, they were victims. I used to agree. But then I watched that Surviving R. Kelly series that was on Netflix in Lifetime. I watched that series and I listened to those young ladies say, I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. And I was like, yeah, okay. So that started flipping my switch of what a victim really looks like. You know, but then I went from that, I was like, well, there's a difference between someone who is being locked up and chained up and being forced to do the things that they're doing. And then there's people who are just in situations who do not know their worth and their value, or they have determined that their worth and their value is that which they are choosing to accept for themselves. How is that victimization? All that is evolving and changing and realizing what you deserve and putting some boundaries in place. That's not victimization. This is you allowing something to happen to yourself that you should not be allowing, but you felt you should allow it in the time. I would never suck on it that tastes like a now. I would never even allow a man to enter into my space to do that and treat me that way. But I have allowed it. I am not a victim. I just didn't know my value and I didn't know my worth. And now that I know my value and I know my worth, I will not find myself in those situations. But when I found myself in those situations, those were my choices. I'm not here to try to convince anyone else to change their line of thinking. But the amount of people who come to me and caution me about my line of thinking when I've actually put thought behind my line of thinking. I think people think, which is weird because you guys know me, but when I say you guys, you know me, but in your knowing me, and when I say you know me, you know that I actually think about things. If it comes to my lips, that means I've pondered on it, or I'm pondering on it. And in that pondering, even if it's developing into time, I kind of understand what the hell is going on, and I've connected a lot of thoughts. So for me to say that I don't believe someone who makes a choice is a victim, the first time, yes. The second time, no. The first time, shame on you. The second time, shame on me. Because that first time, he abused you or she abused you, because it goes both ways. They abused you so I could be inclusionary. Bree, I got you. You know, the second time, there's a choice to be made. The first time, yeah, I get it. Was this an off? I've hit somebody. I've been in not an abusive relationship, but I've been in a relationship where he had me to where I snapped on the freeway, driving down the freeway, and consider just driving into the median to shut his ass up. I was willing to kill all of us. The only reason why I didn't do it is because I'm not 100% crazy, and my toddler was in the back seat. But I did pull that car off to the median, turn around and start punching him and beating on him, and I done ripped his center console off, and I'm beating on the steering wheel, and I'm just losing my shit. That was the first time, and he was like, you got one time to hit me. The next time you hit me, I hit you back. And so he provoked a situation where I kept telling him, stop, 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 and he wouldn't stop, but he provoked the situation again, so he had a reason to hit me, because from the moment I hit him, he wanted to hit me back. And he provoked the situation in a car again, and we were fighting in a car in a overpass where you're getting off that part. We are literally fighting, and people are honking their cars, honking their horns, and I get it, you don't want to get in anybody else's business. But you see a man and a woman literally fighting in an intersection, and, you know, it's whatever. That's not this conversation. But what I'm saying is, we knew, and we still chose. So who's a victim? That's all I have to say. I think if we stay in victim mentality, then we can never do the work to heal ourselves. We can never elevate ourselves. That's why you leave one person and you go to the next person and you receive the exact same thing, because you never leveled yourself up. That's victim mentality. I don't believe in victim mentality. I believe that people can be victimized. Something has happened to someone, even if you were in a relationship for a sustained period of time, you were victimized in that relationship, and you eventually moved yourself out of that space of victimization because you realized you deserve better, and you leveled up, and now you have empowered yourself. You are now standing on that victimization. You are not taking that victimization and using it to hold yourself down. So that's my philosophy behind it. So I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm not asking you to align with me. I'm asking you to understand me. Understand my perspective. And my perspective is very thought out. My perspective is based on a lifetime of being a victim, and me saying I am not a victim. Therefore, I will not align with saying that I'm a victim because I made choices. I'm not going to align with that ever. Well, at least as of today. I may change tomorrow. Give me some good reasons to change, and I'll evolve. You know, I'm not above evolution, but I got you, sis, and I understand. But I want you to understand me as well.